welcome to episode 69 of the Lonely Knitter podcast. My name is Laura. Today is Thursday, the 11th of February, and welcome to my knit night. It's actually about 12:30 in the afternoon. Right. If you are new here, hi. This is where I come to chat about all of my knitting, all things knitting going on over here, and also my yarn because I dye yarn, and my hand balm because I make hand balm, and my children because I made children and now I have to live with them. I am from the most easterly point of England and I live here with my husband, my 4-year-old, my 1-year-old. My 4-year-old has become a 4-year-old since she was a 3-year-old last time I recorded a podcast. And my husband, my 4-year-old, my 1-year-old, and my cat. And yeah, if you're not new, sort of disappeared again, didn't I? Well, last time I recorded a podcast, I thought I was sort of getting better from a bunch of hospital admissions and little hospital appointments for my gallstones. Recorded the podcast, put it up, went straight back into hospital with obstructive gallstones. Ended up in hospital for over a week in the end. Between stays it was longer than a week, but the longest stay, I think I had 3 stays, the longest one was a week. It was horrible each time I was admitted through A&E, and I had an ultrasound and an MRI, and I got obstructive jaundice, and I was very tired and it was very itchy. So that's what the itching, when last time I podcasted I mentioned that my hands were itchy. That spread to my entire body. You can't catch it, it's nothing like that. It is literally just that I have gallstones and one of them was stuck in a bile duct and my liver stopped functioning. So my hand's still a little bit yellow. It is going, it really is going. It's really just only, I feel like, in my extremities now. But I have a lot of makeup on my face because I'm quite haggard and scary at the moment. It has been, I mean, I've got a lot of makeup on my face and I still look very scary. It has been horrible. I think when I filmed this last podcast, I think I might have been an idiot and said something like, can't get any worse, or the only way is up, or, you know, year started bad, must get better. Something stupid like that. I think that's what I did. Because it got worse. Ugh. Anyway. Awful lighting, as usual. Haggardy weird shadows that clears my nose shadow. The hair, awful again. It was like, do I spend some time? I've put makeup on. It took ages. I put makeup on, plucked my eyebrows just a little bit because just for fun, and then realised what the time was. Realised that I have minimal amount of time before my husband wants to come back out here to use my space to do some more actual work, and rather than me, 50% of the time I'm saying I'm doing work, and I am doing work, but 50% of the time I say I'm doing work and I am knitting, and you can class that as work if you do what I do, but it kind of feels like I'm a fraud. So yeah, I have minimal time, and I sat there and I thought, okay, you really do have minimal time now. Do you want to do your hair or do you want to podcast? And the podcast won. So we get all the, yeah, it's not the best. None of these bits will fit in the ponytail. Oh, isn't that attractive? Anyway, shall we crack on? Finished objects. You'd think for weeks of being a bit laid up and a bit knackered, not really going anywhere, not really moving. We're in lockdown here in the UK anyway. You'd think I'd have loads to show for it. No, I just tried to stay. I mean, when I was in hospital, I just slept for most of it, I'm not going to lie. Then when I did come out of hospital, I just tried to stay awake enough to make sure my children didn't hurt themselves. Chris was at work. He is this week now finally starting to, a mixture of furlough on certain days and certain days of the week he works from home. And it's nice, it's very nice, but it's the first time he's been able to do that really since the beginning of everything. So that is lovely, but I could have done with it over the last couple of weeks when I was literally like this. Get off the stairs. Don't climb in the toilet. Leave the cat alone. That is basically how I've been for the last how many weeks. It's been awful. Yeah, so I've had no energy, and on top of that, all of my skin was itchy, including my hands. My hands were the worst, which meant that unconsciously at night I was scratching them. Awful nails. Ellie painted my nails. They were very lumpy. I have since then done a lot of things and haven't fixed them. Yuck. Yeah, so I haven't actually finished much. Knitting for quite a while of that was unbearable. Having the feeling of something pulling through my fingers or moving through my fingers was unbearable. So I went a little crazy, because you do if you're a knitter like me who knits every day for a lot of the day, and then you get that taken away from you. Did a bit of painting. At one point messed about with some clay. Mainly just got annoyed at everything. But I did make these, so I have one finished object to show you. And these, I don't know if I show you the original of these. They are brown. They are in the house actually somewhere. Ellie keeps pinching them. But I call these the Warm Paws. Now this is a pattern that I wrote start of last year. It was a long time ago. And I've been wearing them for ages. But I haven't ever shared them. Now they are teeny tiny mitts. I call them Warm Paws, mainly because my friend who sent me the yarn that I originally knit them with has lovely dogs, and it was really brown and cuddly, and it just made me think of dogs, and I was like, paws, and they made my paws warm. But they are really tiny, and I mainly made them so that I can still knit while having something to keep my wrists, hands a little bit warm. So I can well and truly still knit in these. My hands are completely free, my fingers even are completely free, and this bit is free, and I feel like I need that bit free to be unannoyed. So they're basically just hand warmers, not full on, but they do have a thumb hole, and as you can see they're a little stripy, but they're not stripy with two sock yarns. They are stripy with a bit of mohair. So these can be made, I did write it down, now I can't remember. It takes about 10.5 grams of sock yarn and 2 grams of mohair, 2.5 grams of mohair to make one mitt. Most of the minis that I have grabbed out of stash were a little bit over 20 grams. So this was a 20 gram mini from Dusty Dimples, and a teeny bit of a 20 gram mohair mini that I bought from the Fibre Fox. And yeah, it has stripes where you hold them together and stripes where it's just the sock. So I'm going to put this pattern out. I've just had it tech edited. Had it looked over and checked and everything, and it's incredibly simple. It really is. So this is probably going to be up for Saturday night. I think I'm going to launch this on Saturday night, because I'm also going to try and do a little shop update on Saturday night. So that's when this pattern will be going live. It really is simple. It is just a rib cuff and then a little mitt with a little thumb gusset, and then I have done I-cord bind offs on both the top and the thumb. But it's just a nice way to use up little scraps, little bits of yarn, and I do wear them like on their own so that I have my hands free, but I have also worn them under gloves and under mittens, because they don't come up here. They don't mess with a glove or a mitten where the thumb will come out, but it means that I can have something under them, makes them doubly as snug. But if I want to pull my mitten off to type on my phone or do anything, my whole hand doesn't freeze, and it's just an extra little layer, and I really like them. So these are the Warm Paws mitts, and that pattern will be out very soon. I do realise I also have my colourwork sock, my Love Your Feet Snuggy socks pattern to release. I've been stalled on that one a little. I'm just waiting for a little bit more feedback, and then that one will be coming out too. But yeah, I just finished those off, and they were incredibly quick, and like I can make a pair in a day, no issue, because it is just 20 grams of sock yarn, and the mohair is added to it, so it's not adding meterage on. So that, and then I have a hoe. I don't remember if I had this hoe last time. I don't think I did, but this is my sock club that I run through my website, and it is my January and February colourway. So January and February, this is the colourway. After February I won't have it anymore, and March and April will be another colourway, and it'll be the same, a natural stripe and then something else on the other side. But yeah, that's the that's the sock club, and then that is my only whip I think that I am working on right this second. The second one, which I only have a cuff of because I keep doing other things. Then I have got my cozy memories, not my cozy memories, what am I on about? Battenberg Blanket. I have been working on it, but it is buried in the bottom of this bag, and I'm not going to dig everything out to get to it. It's living in my Doctor Who bag at the moment. It is going to come out of there and go into my The Fibre Fox bee bag, which I haven't got out here with me, but it's just been living in here because I made this one for the January Scrappy Club to go along with that, and because January's TV show was Doctor Who, and I wanted to use it. So they're going to come out of there. That's going to come out there, and it's going to be swapped over into the bigger bag, and then this will be able to be used. So I think that is all the whips and bows and hose I was going to show you. So shall we crack straight on to stash enhancements? It's going to be the quickest podcast in the history of all time. Oh, excuse me. So stash enhancement, I have bought 2 things. Very restrained because it's been many weeks and I feel like I've been a very good girl, which is good because when you work for yourself and then you're off sick and you don't get the opportunity to do all the things. I didn't get the opportunity to do the shop update that I was going to do last time, and then I haven't had the energy to do anything since. So when you don't get those shop updates, it's scary. I'm self-employed. This is my whole everything now, and it was going very well, and it still stayed okay because you amazing people went with the things that I already had, or you jumped in on clubs and you made things still work, and that was just amazing for me, and I'm so grateful. But man, is it scary when your whole source of income comes from you and you get taken out. And then people say, oh, you need insurance. I don't make that much money. We'd be fine, we really would, but it was still scary. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to show you is this bag. It is so cute. It is from the amazing Stitched by Mrs. D. That's Paula. She has a shop, she has a podcast, she makes amazing bears and bags, and she put these up in her shop, and she'd put like a little spoiler of them beforehand onto her Instagram, and I was like, I want that bag, but I'd seen this side. And then when I went onto her shop and the shop update, it showed this side, and I didn't click straight on, so I was just going crazy, going through her shop trying, where's the bag, where's the bag? But I found it. So it is gorgeous. It's got all these little buttons on this side, and then the bunting on this side. It's all patchwork. It's lined with that same fabric, and it's just lovely. It's just really lovely. It's really sturdy, feels really well made. It's got a box bottom, and I love it. It's got this really sweet gingham ribbon. It was even wrapped up beautifully with a lovely Alice in Wonderland, I think I've got it in here, Alice in Wonderland postcard with a note on, and it was wrapped up and tied in gingham ribbon, and just it just felt like a real treat. Unfortunately for me, I am now having to guard it with my life because Alfie thinks these are the best things since sliced bread. This green button is now coming loose. Not any fault of Paula. I will stitch it back on if it does come off. Not any fault of hers at all. It's looped on there, like she's sewn around that like a lot. But it didn't. I don't think she thought that this bag would come into contact with a 1-year-old who just wants to eat that green button, and literally has been that every time he gets a chance. He'll either pull it, put his mouth round it. So yeah, this bag is precious, and I am now having to literally go no to my 1-year-old every time he gets near it, which makes him cry. And I am horrible because I laughed at that, but it does make him cry. He's a wuss. Anyway, moving on. One other thing that I have bought, well, they're actually 2, but they came from the same shop, is a couple of stitch markers. My lovely friend Jo put me onto these. Is this House Label Fibres, or is it like House Label, like House Label Fibres? I don't know. It's a cream egg. Like, how could you resist awful nails? Ugh, they look disgusting. Let's try and get them away from the camera. But look at this. Look at that. And it's got the proper foil on and everything. I love a cream egg. Trying not to eat them too much because gallstones. But yeah, cream egg, stitch marker, and then a Tunnocks tea cake. How could you resist this little gorgeous thing in an actual Tunnocks tea cake wrapper? I love them. I love them so much. I almost don't want to use them in case I break them. I just want to hang them somewhere. They're so sweet. I could have one in each year. Cream egg Tunnocks tea cake. I love tea cakes. Look, I had one literally just before I started recording this. So yeah, those are my stash enhancements from the week. And they were really well priced as well. They were really cheap. Really, well, I say cheap, that sounds horrible, doesn't it? They were really affordable. they were bargains, absolute bargains. Anyway, so moving on from stash enhancement, I've got life stuff to tell you. I might just run through what's my shop stuff first, and then we'll crack on with the life stuff. There isn't a lot of life stuff. It's mainly what's been going on over the last few weeks, and it's all pretty samey. So if I'm losing you now, then thank you so much. It's been lovely having you for 16 minutes. I am on fire today. Okay. Doctor Who Club went out. If you have ordered the Doctor Who Club and you live in a far-flung place, or from me, obviously it's not far-flung if you live there, but from the UK, or if you're in the UK and your post is incredibly slow and you haven't received your Doctor Who stuff, maybe look away. I'm about to show it. This is one of the packs. This is a 5-gram pack. I know, I can hear you already. Oh, Laura, single-use plastic. I had it was actually a neighbour, she's my friend. She said to me, I've got all of these bags. So she had these and she had loads of little tiny ones, and she's shutting her business, and she said, would you like them or shall I throw them in the bin? You know when someone says that and you're like, I'm trying not to use too much plastic, but I'd rather use it than it go in the bin. So I have a lot. I don't know if someone else thinks that there is actually a better solution there, feel free to tell me. I am looking at it right now and I have a lot. I need to find a home for it really, because I just bunged it in here since she brought it round. Anyway, so these are in cellophane bags. Please recycle, sort your rubbish. Anyway, so here we go. I'm going to show it again. Look away if you... I'm just trying to wiggle it around. You get a stitch marker with all of these. The first one is this little guy. There he is. Can't say what he is because you might be looking away and I don't want to give it away. Anyway, the rest of them, I am going to say the names. So how about I will give you a timestamp here as to when I've stopped talking about Doctor Who Club, in case you haven't received yours yet. So pop back then and I will be not talking about it anymore. Anyway, so this is what you get. I've done a little TARDIS stitch marker in with this one. This one has come loose. They are supposed to be attached like over here. They had a little sticker on, but this guy has come loose. And this is my spare pack, and this will be on the shop update on Friday, and it is the last spare pack I have. I'm not making up mini packs at the moment. I sold out of the 10s and the 20s, but I have one 5-gram that I made extra from the Scrappy Club. So I am going to pop that in the shop, and I'll just go through the colours with you. They have all got little tags on the back. Oh, sorry, kicked the tripod. They've all got little tags on the back, so you'll be able to see which one is which when you open them up. But here we have Weeping Angels. Now in this mini, I'm not sure if you can see it from there, but I do have some full skeins. These will also be in the shop update on Friday. There's only going to be one full skein of each colourway, and actually a couple of them I'm going to keep, so there's not going to be many, but you can see what you're going to get. But they do have an odd black speckle in there, so well, it's sort of charcoaly. So that's Weeping Angels. Next, this one is River Song. So here, awful through the plastic, absolutely awful. I have got a River Song here as well. I am quite chuffed with this one. It's got some of my hair on it. Let's take that off. Little extra for you. This is River Song, and I love it. And now remember, these are not like my old sock yarns. I changed base, so this is a much finer, softer sock base than I have worked with, that I used to work with. But yeah, this is River Song. Then we have The Silence. I really struggled on this. It's just like a charcoaly colour. I really struggled on this as to whether or not to call it the Silence or Missy or the Master. And in the end, I felt like Silence. So that's that one. Then we have Time and Space, which is this purple and blue. Then we have Exterminate, which is a light grey with red and blue speckles. Then we have Big Blue Box, there's my TARDIS inspired colourway. Then we have Rose Tyler. I do have one of those. Oh yeah, I've got Big Blue Box as well. I do love this blue. I do love it. We also have, I have one of Rose Tyler. This will be in the shop on Friday and I'm so chuffed with it. She's a little messy, this one. She's got some little bits hanging out of her skein. But yeah, Rose Tyler, I felt like should be the one that really pops out of the whole package as a bit different. And yeah, she's like a base colour of like a really lovely pink, but then lots of gold speckles, teal speckles, all over. So Rose Tyler. And then I'll just whiz through the last few. There is Tenant, and it is a brown with like flecks and streaks of a dark grey, because that just made me think of his suit. And then we have 13th, which is the 13th Doctor, kind of inspired by her jumper. And then that scarf, which is inspired by, you know, the scarf, the Doctor Who scarf. So that's my pack. There'll be one of those, just a 5-gram pack going in, just for £12, same as normal price. And then a few of the whole skeins will be going in as well, if I don't keep them all, because I am a hoarder. And I also have some stitch markers going in. I should be releasing that Warm Paws pattern. I may have a few other little bags if I get time. And this update's going to be on Saturday, so that's what we, the 11th, Thursday, so the 13th. Ooh. The 13th of February, I will be putting, I think at 7 PM, I'll just do a little update. And if there's anything you fancy, crack on that. I'll just show you some of the stitch markers, which are in some more little bags that I was given, but I am trying to use them all up. So all of these stitch markers come with 4 ring stitch markers that I make these myself. Like, I know a lot of people use jump rings and just, or buy them pre-made. I don't. I wind the wire around a, I've actually been winding it around a craft knife because it is a size I like. And then I put on a bead, and then I use a teeny tiny super glue dropper to make sure that the beads are stuck on there. So these are my little round stitch markers. You get 4 of those, and then you get an earring clasp, like a lever back clasp, with a little charmy one. So you get a llama. I've got that one. So that set will be going in on Saturday. But yeah, you get 4 of the rings, and then you get a dangly one. So I have the llama. I have me with my giant sausage fingers. I have a dinosaur. Look at those nails, they're hideous. I have oh, I like this one. It's a teeny weeny perfume bottle that says number 5. I don't know if you can see it. I'm gonna try and do that awful podcaster thing. I'm just getting reflective light. There is, oh, I like this one. Well, I like them all, otherwise I wouldn't have done it, would I? But I do like this one. This one is a witch's hat, wizard's hat. It says, well, you're not going to see what it says if I'm showing you the back, are you? Wizard in training. I still don't know if you can see it. You can see that? It says wizard in training, if you can't see it. Awful iPhone camera. And last but definitely not least, these ones I have done with silver ring, and these actually, the silver rings are a little smaller. Silver rings because it is a silver charm this time, and I really like this one. It's a little birdie, and it's got stuck. There we go. This one's on a silver. It's a little birdie with a bird's nest and 3 little eggs, but they're little pearls. Oh, nails. How cute is that? So yeah, there's just some little bits that I've been working on in the evenings, and they will be in the shop on Saturday. The Doctor Who bits and bobs will be in the shop on Saturday. I may well put the pretty minis that I showed last time in the shop, but I'm not sure if my sock pattern will be back and ready to go at the same time, but I might just pop the minis in anyway, and put the pattern up later. And I'm not sure I'm going to have much time for much else because the children are here and around me all the time. All the time. Life stuff. Okay, so last time I was here with you guys, I think I'd just come out of hospital for one of the little pop-ins that I'd had, and it was a bit miffy, a bit horrible, but I was going to try and get back to normal. With gallstones, if you eat fat, it can mess you up. It's the fat that gets you. So you eat fat and your body creates more bile, and everything twirls around, all the biles in your gallbladder being made and being, well, actually no, that's how it drips from your gallbladder through. Can you tell I have no idea how the human body works? But there's little stones in there that should not be in there, and they twirl about. One flicks up and gets stuck in a bile duct, and then the bile can't get through. And usually within sort of 2 hours, it drops out on its own and you're not in pain anymore. But when it's in there, my gosh, you're in so much pain. It's worse than the labour I went through with Ellie. If you have known me for very long, you'll know that I had 2 caesareans. First one was an emergency caesarean after 20 hours of labour with Ellie. And then the second one was a elective caesarean because my scar from my caesarean with Ellie was splitting open. So I didn't have a choice, and I was in hospital for a month. So while they were trying to keep him in there from 32 weeks to 36 weeks, and then they chopped him out and all was well. Well, it wasn't well because he went to neonatal and he didn't breathe properly for a while, but then it was all well and everything's fine now. But I did have 20 hours of labour before I had Ellie, and I was in a lot of pain on a failed induction, screaming the house down, begging them to knock me out and cut her out, which they did chop her out, but they didn't knock me out. It was fine in the end, but I was desperate. This is worse than that. Right now you have to go to A&E on your own. You can't go in with anyone else. Gallstones, they will take you through. They'll give you morphine, whatever you need to stop it from hurting, monitor you until they're sure the gallstone's passed, and then let you go home. If it doesn't pass after a certain amount of time, they will do a bunch of checks on you. They did on me, make sure that it isn't an obstructive gallstone and that it can pop out on its own. If it is obstructive, you have to stay there until they fix you, otherwise you're at high risk of infection. Anyway, so you have to go on your own. I could barely walk, it was so painful. Got dropped off at A&E, walking through A&E, and they were busy. And whilst they will sort you out at A&E, you're not an emergency. Seems almost silly to go to accident emergency when the emergency comes from how much pain you're in, I suppose. Oh, I'm just looking over here. I've also got loads of eucalyptus and lemon bars that will be going in on Saturday. Haven't had eucalyptus and lemon in bars before, so if you fancy one of those, hand balm, crack on. But yeah, not really an emergency, but there's nowhere else you can go, and it is where the doctor tells you to go. So went to A&E. They were busy, so I had to wait in the waiting room. I couldn't stop being sick. Does that to you? So I'm just basically dragging myself to and from the toilet to throw up, and then in so much pain that I'm just rocking about, but I can't get into a comfy position. So in the end, the most comfortable position for me was to kneel on the floor in front of the chair and rock backwards and forwards onto the chair. I must have looked an absolute weirdo. Everyone else has just sat there nicely with their broken body parts, waiting to be seen, and there's me. And I was making that noise. I couldn't help myself. You know when you are in so much pain, you physically can't. It was like, every 2 seconds. I could not stop. So, yeah, they didn't. That time was the worst. That's the time they didn't let me out for 5 days because they couldn't be sure the gallstone had passed because my liver function wasn't changing, and I was on and off in pain and had all the jaundice symptoms. Looked absolutely ridiculous, went bright yellow. Yeah, it wasn't nice at all, and but we managed. And Chris is, you know, people moan about dads all the time. Chris is 100% my partner in everything. He is one of those men that's like, you're the mum, I'm the dad, we have equal roles, let's crack on. You know, things have got to be done, they get done. The only thing that didn't get done while I was in hospital was Ellie's hair. And Ellie has very curly hair, and the hair is, it's a hassle. It's hard for me. So Chris, who shaves his head and has no hair, she wouldn't let him touch it. It wasn't even that he didn't want to. She wouldn't let him brush her hair. So that's the only thing that got dropped family-wise while we were in hospital. So I was very proud of him. He got on really well, whilst also working pretty much full-time. Yeah, so it was horrible. I was in EADU, which is like the ward off of, it's like an emergency something discharge unit. So it's basically where you go from A&E, but they know you're going home. So you go in there and then hopefully they can get you out and go straight home from there rather than going in to the rest of the hospital. But it was all a lot of people, it was a lot of elderly people, and a lot of people who had dementia and had like falls at home, which was hard for me because I have a family member who has dementia, and it's no, he has Alzheimer's actually, and it's scary. It was also at times really funny. I kind of made friends with a little old lady who was opposite me, who was really nice, but really not with it anymore, bless her. One minute we were chatting away about knitting actually, because I had my knitting. Then she accused me of stealing her knickers. So she wanted to see the colour of my knickers because she had black knickers and she knew someone had taken them. And if I was wearing black knickers, it was proof that I'd pinched her knickers. I did not show her my knickers. Yeah. But it was, there was quite a few moments there where I was like, I've got to laugh or I'm going to cry. Yeah, it was horrible. And then I came home and I've just felt exhausted and itchy, and I don't sleep at night because I'm itchy. It is now getting better. I can feel it coming off. I'm having weekly blood tests. They've tested me for other things as well. There's nothing else wrong with me. It is just the leftover effects of obstructive jaundice from obstructive gallstones, and I'm getting there. I am less itchy than I was, but it's still not 100%. And I'm still very tired because I don't sleep at night. But we're getting there. Whew, what a big moan. I've just come for a moan. What else has happened? I closed March's club. Not March's, February's club. So January's club was Doctor Who. February's club was Buffy. That has now shut. I am in the process of making it up, making all the bits, making the stitch markers, dyeing the yarn, doing all the little minis, and then packaging it up and sending it out. So that'll be out before the end of the month. And I've opened up March. I have picked the TV show The Crown. Very chuffed with The Crown. Actually, this is something I didn't show you in the shop update bit, but The Crown, same as always, will be a choice between 5, 10, 20 gram minis with a stitch marker that sort of relates. But I have also made a bag for this one. So I made a bag for January with Doctor Who, but I didn't do a bag for February because it just was beyond me, and I'm glad I didn't because it would have been too much. But March does have a bag, but it's a little bit different. This is a bag of my own devising. I designed it myself. Like, I didn't designed it, it's not complicated. I just didn't use a pattern is all I'm trying to say. This is it. It is a little box bottom bag because it's The Crown themed. It's got the Queen on it. Yeah, there she is, Her Majesty, Mom, like jam, mom like jam, or mom like palm. How does it go, guys? I don't know. There she is. And then Queenie with her corgis, and those two corgis have got crowns on. and then little hearts with Union Jacks and a little gold carriage, and yeah, it says God Save the Queen, and the corgis underneath, and it is just a little bag with a popper, one popper to shut it, one little snap to shut it, and this tab at the back that is sewn in with a carabiner, because I knit on the go a lot, or like to have things ready to go, or when I sit down whenever for a minute. And I also usually carry around quite a big bag with loads of gubbins in and have to dig. I don't really enjoy that. I would clip this to the outside of a bag, or even the inside of just the handle of the bag, or to my waistband, like on my belt loop on my trousers. And yeah, it is just big enough for one sock. Where's my sock? One sock. One sock gives you plenty. It's all the way over there. It's absolutely blooming miles away. Of course it blooming is. Here, how about this? This is the yarn that I've got from Woolly Goodness that I showed last time. That is actually for February to join in with Sharon, SEO, and Sharon, her podcast. So I need to actually crack on with that. But just fits in there nicely with enough space to sit the project on the top. So it really is just a sock bag, or a one skein very small bag. Those little Warm Paws mitts, that fit nicely in here. Snap it shut. You can have your knitting coming out the hole on the sides so it can stay snapped shut. Clip it onto your bag, onto your backpack, onto your waistband, and walk along and knit. So yeah, this is one of those. It's fully lined. It's just a little bit of fun, really. I've decided not to offer the other style, the drawstring bag, this month, because again, I don't want to do anything that I can't 100% deliver on time. So yeah, this is the Crown themed bag. So they're in the shop already because I've opened up that club already. Just really garbled on for a little while, haven't I? Don't think I've got anything else to say. Try not to leave it as long next time. Hopefully I've actually done some knitting by next time. It's been a bit boring around here, really, when you're poorly and nothing really goes on. Got a lovely card from a friend, a friend of the podcast. Can't speak. Might have a little kip before I go back in, just to fall asleep in the chair. I won't, but I feel like I could. Look at the bags under my eyes. That's not just shadow. Anyway, I'll see you later. Thank you so much, as always, for making me so much less of a lonely knitter.